Welcome back to another episode. I'm Jake McHugh, and today in this video we are going to talk about the Panasonic 25mm f1.7, which in my opinion could possibly be the best budget lens out there for micro four thirds cameras. So to start off about the build quality of this lens, it's very well made, it's very light and compact. You easily could fit it in a jacket or sweater pocket. It's made of plastic, which is why it's so light, but it's not a poor quality build. It's built pretty nicely, and I haven't had really any issues with the build quality thus far. Do note that it's not weather sealed, so I personally wouldn't use it in bad weather situations. I have weather sealed lenses for that reason, but you might be able to get away with it in some wet situations, but I personally wouldn't risk it just because it's not weather sealed. But other than that, the build quality is very nice. It does come with a lens hood, which you can attach onto the front. It's not like most lens hoods that I'm familiar with, but you can just pop this lens hood on just like so, and then you can also flip it around when need be too. So this lens is 25mm, and on a micro four thirds sensor that comes out to a 50mm full frame equivalent. So in a way, it's Panasonic's nifty 50 lens. And with that being the 50mm full frame equivalent, it's a standard range lens, meaning that it's very, very close to what the human eye sees as far as the field of view and compression, and thus making a lot of the images and the videos that you take with this lens looking very natural. It has an f1.7 aperture, which is very fast, and that helps in low light situations, and as well it helps with portraits due to the fact that it blows out the background, gives you a really nice smooth bokeh in the background. So it works pretty good for a lot of situations due to the fact that 50mm looks very nice and natural to the human eye, and that it's not too compressed and zoomed in or cropped in compared to like an 85mm or 100mm equivalent. So this is a really just good all-around lens in my opinion. And plus, on top of it, it comes at a very affordable price tag at $150 brand new. And I mean, you can't really beat it for the price due to everything that it gives you as far as the low light capability, the blown out background, and the bokeh that it gives, and it just being a really nice focal length for any kind of run and gun situation or any type of B-roll situation that you might want to use it in. Do know that the lens is not image stabilized, but I really don't expect it to be, only at $150 brand new. But it does give you a very sharp image, and the autofocus on it is fairly quick actually, and it makes up for the manual focus on this lens due to the fact that, like most micro four thirds lenses, this is focused by wire, meaning that when you're focusing with the focus ring, it's not really actually moving the element in there, it's telling the camera to change its focal point. So sometimes it has yips or delays in your focusing, and it makes it very hard to make focus pulls. And I actually use push button autofocus in manual focus mode on my GH5, and I just take my AF and AE lock button on the back and I change it to autofocus, and that's how I manually focus with micro four thirds lenses. And even that's not really the greatest because it's very hard to make a natural looking focus pull using that method. So whenever I use, or I'm in the situation where I want a manual focus pull, that's when I use vintage lenses, because you're actually changing and moving the element in when you're focus pulling. So that's the one thing where this lens lacks, is just manually focusing. And also too, there's this weird thing too where like if you move it slowly, it's gonna focus slowly, but if you were to move it real quickly, give it a rip, it's gonna actually jump and change focus right away. So it's very hard to be consistent when trying to make manual focus pulls with this lens, and that goes for really any micro four thirds lens in my opinion. There's some lenses out there that they have the focus clutch on them, and that's really handy, but when it comes to focus pulling, I'm using like just non micro four thirds lenses. So the other day I actually shot a bunch of footage just using this lens and this lens only. So enough talking about the lens, let's actually see what kind of images and video it can produce. So the main takeaway from this video here is that for the price, the portability, the sharpness, the focal length, and the low light capability, you really cannot go wrong with this lens. I personally feel like that it's one of the better bang for your bucks, if not the best bang for your buck lens out there for your Panasonic or Micro Four Thirds camera. And really, if you're one of those people that just want to have a little bit more creativity in your shooting and want more blowout and separation from your background and more bokeh that your standard kit lens can't give you, this is probably a lens that you definitely should look at, especially for its price. If you have your kit lens and this lens, you have a really great 1-2 punch. That's gonna wrap it up for this video here. If you like it, make sure you hit the thumbs up button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already and you wanna see more content like this in the future, along with videos about the gear that I use for making videos here on YouTube. And last but not least, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.